their musical. The three men were all Jewish, all descendants of immigrants from the old country. They wrote it as they would any other show, Bach told me years ago, but, quote, adding those embers that kept burning underneath. When Jerome Robbins came into shape and staged the show, they did what composers, lyricists, and librettists have always done. They rewrote. Stein turned out 5 drafts of the show's book, and the songwriters came up with about 50 songs, of which the show used fewer than 1/3. Their songs, dances, humor, and insights became Fiddler on the Roof, freezing time before pogroms, emigration, and Hitler destroyed a culture and a way of life that had endured for centuries. It surely also revived interest in Alehem, who died 48 years before Fiddler crossed a Broadway stage. Fiddler was not typical show business fare in 1964. That year, the Beatles debuted on The Ed Sullivan Show, while My Fair Lady and Mary Poppins were hit movies. Both Hello, Dolly and Funny Girl were already faring well on Broadway when Fiddler premiered in September. Fiddler came of age in the 60s, when traditional American values were being questioned amid great social upheaval. The Civil Rights Movement, Betty Friedan's The Feminine Mystique, and the Cuban Missile Crisis were all taking place. President John F. Kennedy was assassinated. Smoking was declared bad for your health. Nice girls took birth control pills, and nice boys evaded the draft. It was also a pivotal time in world history, with the horror of the Holocaust only 2 decades before. Much as the Diary of Anne Frank is not just a Jewish story, neither is Fiddler on the Roof. Fiddler's strong themes of family, tradition, repression, prejudice, and diaspora continue to evoke common ground for its audiences, wherever they are. Glenn Casale, who directed a 2012 production at the 2,200-seat Sacramento Music Circus, told his actors to turn on the television and watch the heartbreak in Syria. This was his 15th Fiddler production, he says, quote, and every time I do Fiddler on the Roof, it coincides with something going on in the world, people losing their rights and losing their homes. That's what makes it timeless. That timelessness is similarly captured in Norman Jewison's movie, Fiddler on the Roof. The United Artists film received 8 Academy Award nominations, including Best Picture, has a score arranged by John Williams, which won the renowned composer his first Oscar, and music for its opening credits, played by Isaac Stern, the most famous violinist of his time. The film that critic Pauline Kael once called the most powerful movie musical ever made has already been seen by 1 billion people, according to its star, Chaim Topol. Production designer Robert Boyle created 1905 Anatevka in the villages of Yugoslavia, while cinematographer Oswald Morris shot through ladies' stockings to get the film's earthen colors and textures. Director Jewison, who had stood in snow up to his knees when scouting locations a year earlier, never encountered any during the entire shoot. Every bit of snow in the film is marble dust. Jewison is candid about his challenges on the film. Among them, casting Tevye, dealing with that total lack of snow, getting phone poles out of his images, communicating with 300 extras, speaking many different languages, and even wrangling geese and pigs on the set. Violinist Stern told Jewison that Marc Chagall's original Fiddler on the Roof was the artist's frequently drunk uncle, so Stern's violin had to be played a little off-key, as the drunken uncle would have played it. Jewison asked actor Paul Michael Glaser to wear brown contacts to hide his blue eyes, and Topol's Tevye talked to a god that was in actuality a piece of white cardboard with a Jewish star on it, attached to a pole and hung from the camera so Topol would always look at the same place. Topol
Para seguir escuchando este audiolibro gratuitamente, haz clic en el enlace de la descripción y podrás escucharlo completo sin coste gracias a la prueba de 30 días de Audible.